Welcome everybody to a exciting day of trading. We've actually finally got a little bit of movement, making a little bit of money here. Today we're going to be talking for sure about Bcash. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're kind of just going to focus on just a couple of the majors here. It's still a little bit early for an end of the day show. So we're going to do it. I've got the man, the myth, the legend himself. I got the Big Chon on the line. Say hi to Chon.
Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Happy to be here, man.
That's right. Chon is actually sitting back. He's got a bottle of Moet. He's got a big cigar. He's just chilling out in his smoking room. Got his 65-inch monitor up. Hooker's calling him. He's got his phone on vibrate. So he's nice enough to break away from his busy weekend to come join us here. God bless him. So listen, it's very simple. I have been looking for a bounce here, right? I'm looking for a bounce. I am not looking for much of a bounce, right? We had a wicked reversal candle, which I was like, ooh, man, that looks like, and it was holding inside of the channel. So I've been telling everybody this big red channel is what I'm looking to hold right here. Losing this channel for the bulls is very no bueno. So this is really where I've been just watching the battle take place inside of this channel. We've come down, pulled up, come down, pulled up, and finally broke down below it. But when you go over, and this is what I posted up in the members area, this is really what we've been watching right here. We've been watching the TD count, and the Stoke is super deep. So we've been watching the TD count and the Stoke. You go over to your 4 hour, you bring your 4 hour up. You've got a whole pack of bleeding nines, right? A whole pack of bleeding nines down here. So you got all these bleeding nines. Look at these reversal candles, just keeps posting up and trying to get this reversal. The buyer's coming in very weak, right? We're going to run this up to the 6 hour. There's our 6 hour chart. Same thing. Got that nice deep reversal candle. Just couldn't hold on. Fell out one more time. I'm still looking for this trend line here, right? Coming over here looking for the trend line. Let's look at our 12 hour. Now our 12 hour candle, depending on what exchange, and unfortunately now we have to chart on 3 different freaking exchanges. On USDT, it's very bullish candles forming over here. Now you still got time. You got 30 minutes left for this baby to close out. These are more bearish though. So if you look over here, these are a little more bearish candle setups on the 12 hour over on Coinbase and Bitstamp. So, I'm just watching these. Now I do see support down here. There is support. We are deep, but there is still room to go. We can still eke out a little bit of room here. Listen, came down, tested support, bounced up right here. Came down, tested support, bounced up, tested support, bounced up. And look, we turned this channel into a resistance now. So this channel got flipped into a resistance. I still want to see us try to break back into this channel, consolidate maybe a little bit, and then fall out. Now I did. I moved my stop loss. I put in all the members area. I said, hey, my stop loss is moving here, right above this resistance line. So my resistance line, look, you got the 5-0 up here, 64.21. So I plot I'm right here. I think that, if I'm looking for this to bounce, and we're going to go over my count really quick, chalking money flow. Look at that fallout on Phoenix. Look at the fallout on Coinbase and on Binance, right? So the chalk money flow is, Chon will go over that a lot more. Now, I was looking for when this did touch to get a 100-point drop out of this, right? I was looking for when this made contact to get a 100-point drop out of there when it did touch. And I was looking for a flash dump, right? It's called a flash dump. So if you come over here, this was the flash dump. It wasn't shit. Honestly, it was horrible. It was a very weak flash dump. I mean, a whole 48 points, barely squeezed, probably in some exchanges like a 50-point dump. But like when the MACD indicator touches the orange indicator line, you do get a flash dump, and you can back test that everywhere back here. Just looking every time. Look, there's the flash dump. There's the flash dump. These flash dumps have been getting weaker and weaker, and they seem to be just kind of fading off. There's no sell volume. There's no buy volume. Now I said laugh. My LMO flash dump was 44 to 850 points. I said now I'm looking for a J-hook pattern. So I'm looking for this to possibly swing back around and do a J hook and then give us, you know, this little pump back up. And I'm going to show you kind of the count I have. Right, I'm going to show you the count I have. Where is it? So here's kind of my count on BTC. So here is kind of the bigger wedge that I have. I still have this really big wedge right here, right? A, B, C, D, E, right? So there's this big wedge right here. You can A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. This one's a little harder to count. This one's really hard to count, this fall right here. Okay, but when you dig down in here, I've been saying over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, where the heck is B ending? Right? Where does B end? I said, where is this B? Is this the end of B? Is this the end of B? Is this the end of B? Where the hell's B end? So looking at this, now, a lot of people were trying to count this out as a 4 wave right here. It's a wave 4. This has been violated as a wave 4. I feel personally, I see this more as a B, C down, right? So this, technically, this wave C down right here needs to be another A, B, C, or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So I'm looking for this. I'm watching this to see if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to the target, which has been my wedge line, this lower wedge line here. Then I am looking for a bounce off of this wedge line. I don't know where this bounce will come, right? But this is my game plan, right? I've been saying, all right, where's B? It's been, God, forever now, right? This is the 12-hour chart. So what? 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days almost, watching this climb up, saying, okay, where is B at? So this has definitely got enough of a retrace here. This is looking like a wave 1 and going to look for a wave 2 and then 3, 4, and 5, right? Now let's take a look at here is listen, this is our daily. So we're coming over here. We're on our daily WMA True Strength Index, and this boy is about to touch, right? When this rolls over and this touches, now this can easily come apart because we're coming into a heavy support area with this trend line, right? We got this trend line right here, and I think this trend line is going to act as support. Look, we broke through the first support, trying to get through the second support. But I'm still looking for a bounce as this is a wave 2. We're really oversold on a lot of indicators, trying to move our way back up. Historical volatility chart. It got a little bit excited, right? It got a little bit excited, right? I mean, if this was, this is just, it can't get it up, right? I mean, you need this to get super excited. You need this thing to really take off till we have a true decision, either bullish and or bearish. So our historical volatility chart has said, nope, only kidding. No direction has been chosen. Okay, higher time frames, the shorts. Oh my freaking God. Unbelievable how shorts can continue to plummet.
Looking for a pulse.
Jesus criminy, dude. What the hell? Unbelievable, right? So, I mean, Chon, listen, let's take a look at some of Chon's charts real quick, and then we'll jump back to mine. But, man, I am truly at this point stumped about the shorts being at this level right now. I'm just not, dude. I'm kind of lost right now. There's no history. There's no man. Help me out, Chon. Help save me.
Yeah, listen. The shorts have been unprecedentedly bearish, and it really feels like they're in a new, uncharted territory here, where they're really nervous. They're really scared to take any positions as we get into November with all this kind of fluff hanging out there and this uncertainty in the market. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're in a low volume environment. Bitcoin still has had this sideways price action. I mean, $6,300 is where we were most of September, mostly all of October, give or take a few $100s up and a few $100s down. So we've maintained this equilibrium, for such a long time.
Oh, lost you there, Chon.
And
yeah, you're back.
Yep, I'm here.
Right, you're back.
And so let's just start with the daily candle. We have 27 minutes left in this almost carbon copy of yesterday's very bearish candle as well. You know, bearish engulfing, dark shadow, almost engulfed the previous 2 days of bullishness here. You know, it's brought us all the way back to pretty much where we were at the first of the month. Now, if I can look at my EMAs here, intraday yesterday, we were actually bull crossing my EMA 12, the EMA 26. My 12, my lower time frame EMA, was busting up through my higher time frame EMA, and it looked like it could be the start of something interesting, because you can see here they have been repelling. They got very close right here, October 9th, right? We were just about to break out and collapse. And then ever since, literally the big cross they had, the big bear cross they had in very early September, they've been separated all since then. So we were very close there. I mean, you don't get any closer than that. And a failure to basically commit. And this was another failure of the bulls on this very tight channel that we were able to rise up here for that continuation. Now, we are still putting in higher lows. We have not broken down yet by any means. The volume is still kind of low and crappy. So, I mean, we got a little bit higher, like a couple billion in the market cap, a couple billion in Bitcoin.
This is the puppy that got stuck right here. He's like, oh, the bulls, he can do it. Funk.
And nope, just utter collapse there. And you know, it's one of these. It's one of these. It's one every time we kind of go up there, like we're on the precipice, right? The precipice is something great, and then just so. Let me pull in a couple more indicators here. I want to bring in my my Bollingers here, because we were actually closed outside of our upper Bollinger. And listen, I talk a lot about, you know, when we're outside and from like a period time perspective, we've seen the 4 hour. You can be outside for a couple candles. You know, the hourly, you can be outside for several candles. But the daily, I mean, look at 1, 2, 3. And this is just weaker volume now. This was, look at that volume then in mid-October, where you could have that extreme move here. This volume is so silent here that even that one little blip above our upper BB was unable to hold and actually caused a massive pullback. Yesterday's price action gave us support on the middle BB, and then that just fell through today. And I'm eyeing my lower Bollinger still around 62.60, which is fine to hit because it still puts in a higher low overall. We bring in some crayon drawings here. So, you know, I'm pretty much in agreement more or less with the count that we're looking at here. I think it's pretty clear. We just did a nice 5 waves up. I remember we did a show on this candle here, October 31st, the Halloween show, when we were noting the volume that had come in that day, intraday. I remember it had fallen low. Maybe I can see that on the hourly. It had a big dump there, and then, yeah, there it is. And then it had that really nice reversal. I think Cheds would call that an upthrust. And that was very notable, as well as the volume. And that basically did start this kind of nice, clean 5-wave structure that we can pretty much count here. There we go. And there we go. So, you know, I get the 1, 2, 3, the 4, you know, it wicked into the 1, just the wick though. But this is on the 6. I'm kind of on the 6 hour here. It's a little more clearer. And looks, our 3 should be over here. Our 4 should be over here. There we go. So, you know, our 4 did touch a little bit of the wicks of the 1, but that's fine in the leverage market. And we're able to basically do a clean 5. And listen, this is clearly a correction here. We're clearly doing a correction. And yeah, it's probably some sort of an ABC correction. And as Bam said, being oversold on certain time frames here, especially our lower time frames, yeah, a little bounty bounce is due. We're kind of seeing buyers here with some of these wicks here. Our volume has been pretty consistent, so there's been consistent dumping, and there's still been some consistent loading, and that is notable.
6 hours
so
actually bearish, but that's positive bearish volume. That's yeah.
Yeah, because of the you have the stable volume and lower lows on the candles here, and this 6 hour is going to close out in 20 minutes as well. So, you know, the wick buying is notable, and we're actually putting a little bit higher volume than our previous 6 hour. But you know, it feels like even if we do have some sort of a mercy bounce here, it could be pretty weak and kind of light. And so, you know, we're looking at our fib retrace here. We broke our 61.8, didn't touch our 78 yet. And if we do see some kind of bounce here, I'd be looking for resistance. Kind of, I mean, it could be a really short one, but I think we could get maybe as high as 6,400. You know, maybe for a B wave up. It really depends on the volume or if this selling can keep it moving here. But when we do have that bounce, I'd be looking to some of these fib, you know, support areas as, you know, resistances. And I expect another, you know, down level. And that kind of corresponds where Vamp has his overall support, I think, based on that, the low here, and basically that line holding, extended down to here. So this what do you call it, increasing line of support and our decreasing line of resistance here, you know, our higher lows, our lower highs, we keep putting in that apex here. Oops. And you know, let's face it, we could keep doing this pattern, very tight Bitcoin, potentially into next month, if the price action really wanted to. I think that's kind of what you're seeing the shorts doing their thing right now. Let me just jump over to that, because they're kind of seeing the same thing. You know, crap, it doesn't feel like we're on the precipice of something crazy. Maybe I'll just wait. I'm a short. I got burned by like jumping the gun too quickly. Look at that. We're still negative. We became so close. We were green intraday. And we couldn't put it in there. Now we're on a 9, I think, or we're on a or did we hit our 9 on our shorts? I know it was yesterday. Let me pull up my TD. There it is. Yeah, we're on a bleed out we're after a 9. Yeah, so we're on the first bleed out candle after a 9 on the daily, and pretty perfected 9 there as well. Now our longs definitely chilled out a little bit. I'm on the hourly here, I'm on the daily here, but the hourly clearly shows, you know, that dump in Bitcoin, a couple $100, you know, shorts basically. They took some money off the table there, a little stability, but I kind of felt, I think I put a tweet out about this yesterday, that there kind of feels like we're beginning for that some sort of a trend change. The logs had a decent move over the past couple weeks here, honestly, to get themselves back out of oversold conditions. And now the shorts having bled out substantially, we're seeing historic RSIs, 22 on the daily. I think the 4-hour was in the negatives. So this was like unprecedented bearishness from a TA standpoint in this chart. Now, look at that. We bottomed at a 3 on the 4-hour RSI. I mean, never lower. And now we've risen back up to 36, while we've almost still kind of been declining slightly. But we're starting to see that's a bullish divergence sign slightly. We've taken some of that runway out, but we're starting to slowly begin to turn the corner. And, you know, we're still waiting to put in at least that first hour of a higher low, which we have yet to do still. We got to get just a little higher there. Look at that, we're putting on a green 9 on the hourly, but that doesn't mean much. So yeah, we're still struggling to put in that higher low, at least on the hourly chart, to start to see if shorts are prepared to begin to load a little bit into this. Remember that they've loaded slightly into a Bitcoin drop of almost $200. You would have thought they would be a little more aggressive potentially in that move. So they're not convinced that, you know, the bulls are out of steam, that the bulls have lost it. They're not convinced that the bears have complete control yet. And we see that here. But because, as we've shown in our diagonals, we could definitely keep this sideways price action going for a couple weeks longer, until we get whatever it is, that baling wire and duct tape that's holding Bitcoin above 6K. And there's been a lot of FUD this week. I mean, we have the Tether Delta thing and a couple of SEC indictments.
We had
the overall stock market.
We have an exchange take off with some people's money too, Korean exchange.
So, not the best positive news for Bitcoin. We know there's a lot of stuff that's back end loaded in December and potentially before the Thanksgiving holidays here. So there's still a lot out there that people are kind of waiting on. But you have to ask yourself, what is this? Like, what could really change this market? Can a news event push this thing higher? And listen, we have seen news events drive Bitcoin Cash. We have seen news events drive certain coins. The basic attention token launched on Coinbase, only to just see them just get pump and dumped, like a total legit pump and dump. That possibility, Bitcoin's a little harder to pump and dump. It's a larger elephant to move.
Yeah. Peak,
do you want to?
Monsignor Peak says, "When moon, sir?" He says, "For Santa." He said, "Is Santa going to bring a rally or a crash?"
Well, it depends how you look at it. And your time horizon. Listen, no one would want, I shouldn't say that. I am with everybody else in terms of wanting Bitcoin and crypto to break bullish. Absolutely. It helps out me. It helps out my friends. Helps out everybody in the community, But I still have to keep a very realistic sense of the charts. And that's kind of where the trader in me comes into play, that we've seen lots of opportunities in crypto with individual coins to make great scalps, a couple nice longs, right? But Bitcoin will continue to run the show. And remember, it's Bitcoin and it's everything else. So Bitcoin can kill across the board altcoin rallies if Bitcoin, loses these supports. We talk about holding that higher low since June, which is true. We're also putting in lower lows since July, which is true. So there's a case for both sides, but let's face it, it's tremendously a lot easier to dump this thing than to rise it up several $1,000s. Not to say it can't do that, and there's historical markers that have shown a quick pop based on really a FOMO, followed by basically that just pump and dump scenario, where once the profits have been made, targets have been hit, you take the stairs up or the escalator up, and the stairs down, or the elevator up and the stairs, I don't know. You go up really slowly, you fall down very quickly. And that trend continues. This pullback of Bitcoin, these two really nasty bearish candles, it's funny, our last two pullbacks have been little drop, bigger drop, super dump, and then super dump. So it's been a while since we've kind of seen this back-to-back, crappy candle, something that looks like back at what we had here in September, where we had this really bad double candle, nice bottom wick, relief rally, right, that wasn't able to get as high, and then it actually ended up fizzling. The wick here is not as severe because it didn't fall as much, and the volume's a little lower. So, definitely a little bit lower. So, we can correct and we can keep holding these higher lows. And remember, as Bitcoin continues to range in this tight area, all coins, respective of their own individual charts, have the chance to pop.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm seeing, even with this this pretty substantial drop we just had of almost 200 points. I didn't really see, other than ignore Bitcoin Cash, right? I completely ignore that because it's just doing its own thing right now. But I didn't see a lot of alts completely die out with this Bitcoin dump right here. I just didn't see it. So I didn't see a lot of the alts just take a total crapper. One thing though, Peak brought up is Peak says he says, hey, sometime mostly in October through December, it used to be good, and this year was a curveball. I don't know if this year exactly is a curveball. I mean, here's the way this also could look, right? Technically, the way I see this, if we wouldn't have had this tether pump, right? This big, this tether let go pump. And let me bring up my chart real quick. If the way I look at this is, if we didn't have this big tether pump, right? This whole thing should be chopped, and it should literally be dropped right down here. right? This
That
tether.
bought us some
It,
time, didn't it? It bought us a lot of time.
it bought. We like right now. We should be down in the 5,000 range. We should 100% be down here into the 5,000 range, trying to figure out, this would have just come up into maybe the 6,100 range, and this would have dropped back down. This would have been like 5,700 here. And listen, let me give you a better idea, right? So I will go ahead and just chop that there, right? I'm going to just put that there. I mean, we literally should, this 5,800 right here, probably should, I'm sorry, this bottom right here that we had at 6,200 should probably be down here in the 58, 5,900 range. And we should probably be right below 6,000 right now, trying to hold on to this wedge right here. I mean, this should have moved along this wedge with this, fell out under the wedge, right, the trend line, popped back up over the trend line, banged onto this top support, and then right now we just would have fell below the trend line again. This is what is screwing us up. So I have to say, this is kind of a bullish October, November, December, comparatively of where we should be. We should be down in the fives right now, not up here in the sixes in 6,300. So I would take this as a gift right now for people who do own Bitcoin or any alts, because this to me is actually very bullish with this saving grace of the tether pump, right? As for the shorts, I mean, guys, I'm totally at a loss for the shorts. I don't know what to say. The shorts have dropped to a historic low on the RSI. They continue to fall out. We got rejected off the top line resistance. Perfect right there. You go over, and I do have a resistance chart I posted up in the members area today. It was this one, right? I said, here, look at this. So you've got this long trend line, this historic trend line that has worked out absolutely magical throughout for 100 and some days, right? It came down, it got tested, we broke through it. It then tapped. Look at this purple line right here. Can you see this purple line? Let me zoom in right here for you. See the purple line right here? Look at touch perfect, almost perfect, right? This purple line, touch perfect, touch perfect, touch perfect, touch perfect. This purple line that we're on right now is acted as support and resistance historically. Now let me explain to you. This purple line is a bounce line. Okay, this is a historical bounce line. This purple line, what this does is acts as a bounce. So if you pull this up and you go up here and you look, oh, there it is. This is where it touched off, right? There it is. It's a bounce to a fall, right? I have this marked for what it is. They're color coded for what they are. Look, hit the bottom of this. There's the bottom of it. It bounced and then reversed up. Bounced, reversed up. That's exactly what this line is. It's just a bounce line. Okay, so we just hit it. And if we bounce off of this, this is what I'm still looking for us to bounce off this and, get a little bit of a bounce. Look at how much bounce you got last time. It wasn't much. This was, it's pretty substantial. That's a pretty substantial bounce off of there, but I'm not looking for anything this strong. I'm just looking for a little bounce and then retrace back down. But listen, I haven't changed nothing. Nothing has changed for me. I'm telling you, I am not convinced bullish and or bearish either way. Yeah. So, what do you got over there, buddy?
I mean, we can talk a little bit about Bitcoin Cash. I definitely think.
Here, one quick thing. People are asking about your Bollinger Bands. Can you do the BBs up on the weekly, the monthly, and the daily?
Yeah, absolutely.
We had Ryan. Ryan was asking about the daily. He said it was pretty tight. The Bollinger Bands on the 1 day were very tight.
Let me clean my chart up here. So the daily broke through and then below and below. And again, I'm watching this lower BB as support. It hasn't. We tend to see like a lower support break, upper support touch, lower support, upper support. So another touch of our lower Bollinger Band can definitely be in play. 62A, 62, 66. Now, as it goes lower, the lower Bollinger will begin to widen out. So this will actually get lower and break through. And remember, just as we broke above our upper BB and found an overbought condition, an initial break of our lower BB could be an oversold condition, especially in the higher time frames.
Could you pull up the weekly?
Actually,
oh, 3-day.
yeah,
3-day. There you go. 3-day and weekly.
Yeah, as the 3-day actually is a very interesting chart for many reasons. So interesting enough, let me actually pull up. Now I'm going to pull up my emails.
Look at that wick. Look at that reversal candle.
Yeah, what a shooting star that thing is. And I had put a tweet out about, we both have our own, a lot of people have a lot of opinions on the 2014 fractal. I think there's a lot of similarities to what we're basically seeing here. But one thing that's interesting is when we broke our MA200, which is our red line here, on the 3-day, let me clean this up a little bit, on the 3-day right here, back in 2014, there was an initial kind of, whoa, too fast, too soon, and the price shot up just as we saw here. There was another initial break of it, or a double break, and then the price shot up again and got rejected at the EMA 55 at the time. Now, our EMA 55 right now is at 6,800, but that wick and that candle on the 3-day followed by what we're seeing now. I mean, that's just really nasty. We basically wicked out right at our EMA 26, and now we're finding resistance in my EMA 12 on a higher time frame as our 3-day. Note our Bollingers here, again, tightest as they've been in 2018 on the 3-day, still wide comparatively. And look at our lower support would actually drop a little bit below our daily to about 61.82. We go to the weekly. And auto. Whoa. So again, okay, just step back for just a moment here and see where we were from our spacing right now. We're back into last June spacing of our Bollingers. We see how insanely nuts they got on the weekly wide, like a great white shark just opening its mouth, and now it's closing its mouth. And basically what we're seeing is getting tighter, but we're still, relatively speaking, very wide comparatively. Now I'm noting that our EMA 26 is 12 is acting as resistance here. And this is actually, since this candle here, remember, we only have 2 days left in this candle here. This is a bearish engulfing with a decently long upper wick here. This is not a good looking weekly candle here, in my opinion. And I note my lower BB as well as my MA 100 is around $5,700. So a double test maybe of our June lows. If we break our triangle here bearishly, currently corresponds with our MA 100 and our Bollinger on our weekly chart. And that's notable because, it wouldn't take much to really dump us down there and do that very important retest. And listen, if we break our June lows by just a little bit, I mean, if we don't get a slingshot up from that, then that could set a significant new story in Bitcoin all the way down, testing the areas we've talked about so many times, as well as our longer-term MA, especially our MA 200, which has just broken above $3,000 for the first time.
Yeah, so Jesse says, man, spring 2019 bull run. All right, so here's what I think. I truly feel that right now we are getting a micro alt season, right? And here's the thing. The reason why I want to call it a micro alt season is because very selective alts are popping off, okay? And the only reason they're able to pop off is simply because we have Bitcoin is moving as a stable coin right now all the way back into July. I mean, we've pretty much just moved sideways since July and really sideways since, September, right? So because Bitcoin has been still so stable, we're seeing a kind of a microcosm effect of alts popping off individually. Now, I'm not calling this an alt season because during an alt season, like, everybody goes crazy, right? I mean, you can, it's pretty much, you can almost pick a coin and, you're going to do 15, 20% on it, on almost any token out there. But right now, it just feels like we're very sporadic on watching a bunch of these alts kind of pop off, and they're all kind of taking their turn. And I think the first thing we want to do is we want to jump over and check out BCH. I'm going to share with everybody my BCH chart first.
Just to
No, go
add
for
to
it. Go
that
for it.
real quick, if I could, a lot of that money that we had seen in the January, February alt season, remember that was all there from Bitcoin running at 20K. So as Bitcoin started to deflate, and people that had only knew Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, maybe Ripple, are basically are like, wow, I just made a shit ton of money in Bitcoin and Litecoin, maybe. What else can I put this? Where can I put this money to work? So it was just an alt season. It was a tremendous amount of money that was available to just flow into a tremendous range of alts. Not everyone went parabolic or hyperbolic, but many did. And it was hard to pick a loser during January and the first part of February. Once Bitcoin bottomed, that kind of, in February 6th, that kind of marked the ending of the alt season, where we saw coins like ADA, Lumen, Ripple begin to top off and pull back rather harshly. So it takes a lot of money to create a rising tide alt season, and a deflationary Bitcoin is not bringing that in. That's why when it's stable, as Vam said, we're seeing individual alts based on the charts and the news, the forks and the this and the that they're throwing out there allow them to actually pop.
Yeah, pretty ugly. Okay, so let's bring up Vamp's chart. So all right, so here's kind of so we had let's say we bring this up right here. So we had a bunch of members and they were like, we're gonna go long on they were gonna go super long on, hold on a second, let me pull up my Vamp charts. All right, and give me a second. All right, so here you can see this is, so last night we had a lot of our members were trying to go long on BCH, and I was like, nope. So last night I said, hey, BCH is going to dump down to support 520 to 532. So a lot of people were in longs right there. We had a lot of guys, and I just kept saying this over and over and over. So we had some members who were going long on it. And I said, just be very, very, very careful. And then, you see what happened today. Fell right down into so it looks like we ended up at 527. So it looks like we ended up at 527. This is support right here. So we do have support. We have a cluster of support here, a cluster of support here. I am looking for this to bounce, and I'm going to scoot this down, looking for this to bounce into this wedge line right here first. So I want to see this, see if we can come down, bounce in the wedge line. But listen, breaking lower here, you do have another catch zone down right below you at about the 500 range, where we could see a possible another bounce again. But, we did bounce a little below the 5.0. I do expect us at least to come up to the 618. If not, to come up here and test this trend line. And then this is really where the rubber's going to hit the road. This needs to break out of this trend line once again. So I'm going to pull this arrow down right there, pull this arrow out. And we're going to have to watch this now as we try to hold support here, right? So we're on a precarious place with BCC, Bitcoin Cash right now, because losing these supports would be detrimental. Now, here's my challenge. Listen, the reason why I picked this, look at the consolidation in here. You got a little consolidation here. You got a lot of consolidation here. It needs to hold this. This long candle is very bad. You don't want to get these long candles, because this long candle going up showed there was no resistance going up. That also means there's very little resistance coming back down right here. So, look at all this came straight up. There's the consolidation area. As soon as this consolidation area let go here, boom, just dumped out. So I'm really watching it. It's got to hold this area. It doesn't hold this area, it's going to get real ugly. So we did come down. We did bounce a little bit. Let's just see if we can pull this off. Historically, other times you've had forks, you've had a very similar situation to where you've had this kind of die out. getting closer to the fork, because what happens every single time with EOS, with ETC, with Ethereum, every time they break out with these forks, the price completely collapses after the fork happens. And I think a lot of people have learned their lesson. They don't want to get caught holding a bag of this when after the fork, because if you're holding a bag of this after the fork, your butt's going to get hung out to dry and you're going to get destroyed. So I'm actually watching this to literally short the crap out of this a day or a few days before the fork. Okay, so that's what I got on there.
Yeah, remember too, when the fork happens, the exchanges are kind of turn off trading of BCH. So when they turn the switch back on, if you will, there could be a mad rush for the door.
Yes. All right. So your charts are up, buddy. Let's see what you got.
I agree. Very interesting zone that we're currently holding now. I'm on the 4 hour. I was watching this channel here, and I like when a channel's holding and then it breaks. A break of the channel is always, for me, it can be a buying opportunity. And normally you'll find that kind of bounce, at least initially, for a nice little scalp. I still see these two candles here on November 4th, and I'm on the 4 hour. So basically this big move we had, we went from 483 to about 523 in about 8 hours with no pullback. So I see this kind of as a volume gap, and corresponding with what Vamp said is another leg down to around the 500 area. I agree with that. That would basically put us right around our 61.8 complete retrace area, and gets us back into that area, maybe even a little bit lower, maybe as low as 484 to 490, where our last area of kind of consolidation actually happened. Because we broke this triangle here from November 4th to 6th pretty easily, this support area means nothing to me now. So I'm looking honestly as the next area down, where we actually found a decent amount of consolidation. And if we get down to 485, depending upon how we get there, that would be my next area where I'd look to see some support happen. I'm not convinced in this area of support or bounce at all. And my green line here on November 15th, that's when the fork is supposed to happen. So I guess you have to be a holder of BCH at that time, and that's 5 days from now. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about how this price action can. It wants to be held right around here, but yet if you're holding it here, you know what's going to happen after the fork actually happens. And after the fork happens, each exchange onto themselves will slowly open up trading on BCH, depending upon how stable they feel the market is. And that's going to vary from exchange to exchange. So you might have some exchanges being able to be open and dumping while you can't execute any orders because your exchange where you have your BCH hasn't allowed you to even trade it yet. So yes, this is a very risky play potentially to be a holder, especially a large quantity holder of BCH into this fork. Now the prize is, yes, you get a 1-to-1 of this new Bitcoin crappier, or I don't know what they're calling it, but this
BCCCC.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, BCCCCP. Yeah, so you get that, but the risk is there as well because you got to have a good exit strategy. And I can see a perfect storm where some exchanges are open for business and the price starts to dump and yours isn't, and then yours opens and there's a tremendous gap down in price action. That's pretty crazy. So 5 days from now was next Tuesday, Wednesday. And then once it happens, who's to say how long it will take these exchanges to actually open up trading again? But listen, this move in Bitcoin Cash, this prearranged, this scheduled event has brought a sense of bullishness, I think, into the market. However, we have seen a decent pullback on some alts. Others are beginning to buck the trend, and some just are showing maybe oversold bounces. Remember, if something bleeds out a lot, it's going to have that oversold bounce. That's as traders, as scalpers, we look for those circumstances where something looks dead with volume. It could be a good scalping opportunity. So, we're going to continue to watch especially as Bitcoin heads into the weekend. But I bring up that weekly chart, and let me just real quick look at the weekly on Bitcoin Cash and see what kind of wick. I mean, yikes! This is just a really nasty one here. Best case here is we get some kind of a nice spinning top where we're able to pull our body. If we can pull our body above last week's close of 565, that'd be nice. That'd be a better looking candle. That'd be a good spinning top with definitely the chance for continuation. But right now, this is a pretty nasty weekly candle on Bitcoin Cash with only a couple days left in this week.
Yeah. Right. Just kind of breeze through a couple alts. Do you have ICX? You have ICX. So I do have an ICX chart. So we did call this one out yesterday. I was looking for a little bit of a bounce off of the either one of these. Because look, we were on a bleeding 9 here on the 4 hour. I said, listen, this thing is looking to bounce, but we're looking just a relief bounce for continuation. And nope. So it just completely tanked out. Now the RSI is gone deep on you on the 4 hours on ICX, but you're still, my resistance level is just a little bit lower down here. So I had this yesterday as kind of my target. Boy, it just came a hell of a lot quicker than I expected it to. Let's see what Chone's got. Go ahead, Chone.
Yeah, not much to add. I don't like this chart. I'm on the weekly finance.
Looks like it's closing a new lower low on the weekly. If it closes.
Yeah, like we got a couple. What I don't like about the weekly is the fact that we actually hit our nut top when the week started. So this is a shaved top candle here, and it could be a big marabouzu if this thing decides to fall off a cliff for the next few days. I just don't like how this candle on the week is formed. And yeah, our RSI now definitely angling down. It had been putting in higher lows, which is notable, but this move here has brought us back to where we were back in October. I don't know. It doesn't feel right, and we're crossing bearish in our Stoke as well. Yeah. So
no bueno.
I don't like it. Yeah, I just don't like it. This one feels like it could go a lot lower.
Yeah. All right. So I do my lowest target. Oh Jesus Lord. Let me see this here. Don't judge me. My lowest target is 46 cents. So that's my lowest target right there. So yeah. So this is, of course, you have to break the support. But this is where I do find some additional support. Now, there's a couple other support levels on the way down, so shouldn't be just a straight drop. But I don't know, man. I used to love this coin so much. Listen, the price is dropping. And the volume is rising. So your bearish volume is continuing to rise. This will have a relief bounce somewhere. But there's just nobody wants ICX anymore. Big sad face.
There's a lot of coin out there that just still has a market cap and people are holding and it hasn't gone anywhere. And their patience is running thin, So this chart we're looking at, the ICX chart, like other ones, it's a similar chart we keep seeing across the board. There's 2,000 altcoins out there, and not all of them are having money flow. They're having a lot of money exit when they can, and this looks just like another example of that.
And let me tell you what takes away from things like that. It's new coins that are coming onto the market, new projects, right? Like have you seen the new Wax? Like Wax is like taking off, like projects like that. There's a bunch of new projects that are getting put onto new exchanges, and people are just taking their money out of these older coins like Icon that really haven't done anything, right?
Yeah, and you have to ask yourself: is the next 10x coin, is the next 50x coin, is it one of the top 50 market cappers, or is it the bottom 20 market cappers? There's probably a better chance now that it's the bottom 20s, just because
Yeah.
Like, think about all the big movers. It was a combination of things. Ripple, Lumen had obviously been around for a while, but coins like ADA and Tron and Verge and a bunch of other ones were able to kind of stand out during the bull run of the alt season early in this year. So we've seen a mixture of the two. But as you said, and we can go to crypto market cap, we have, we just added a new one. So there's 2,094 cryptocurrencies out there, which means 293 coins and Bitcoin. Our market cap, 212. We were as high as what, 215, 216, I think, a couple days ago, maybe a little bit higher. Gave a lot of that back. Bitcoin dominance had dropped to a lower than 51 something. And has risen a little bit as you actually saw a lot of profit taking come out of altcoins there as Bitcoin fell. So Bitcoin falls, alts fall a little bit more, and you see that with the 1% or so increase in the BTC dominance. 24-hour volume, 13 billion overall in crypto. Yeah. Bitcoin's volume now, we're in the mid fours. We were in the mid threes like all of October, right? So we are more or less averaging $1 billion more a day in Bitcoin price action.
But I think that money flowing in is flowing in and going to altcoins.
Flowing in and then spreading out.
Exactly. So the money's flowing into Bitcoin, but I think a lot of it's flowing in, and it was going into ICX. I'm sorry, ICX. It was going into Bitcoin Cash. It was getting into Wax.
Right,
yeah. There's a lot.
That's why you see the market cap stay stable all this month. It was at 210 on the 1st. It's at 210 on the 9th.
Yeah.
Yep.
So as I said, I just posted in the chat. I said me and ICX are like a bad boyfriend, ex-girlfriend where the sex is great, but she's cray-cray. Right? And I truly love ICX. I really have always loved that project. And it's killing me, man. It's killing me. I just can never win a trade with ICX, so I did stop trading it. We have a request for ETH, so let's take a look at ETH. Carol says, can you throw some ETH up for me? So, Carol, this is what I was looking for. I was looking for support right here. Listen, we have some confluence back here. Now you're going to have to move into this next layer of confluence right here, or you're going to have to bounce out of this one because, I'm also looking for this, and here's this band right here, right? This is your support band, so it needs to... I mean, you've got a lot of support right here, right? A lot of support right here for this to come down and catch. If this doesn't, you got a lot of trend lines I've got up here I was looking to hold. This one just couldn't hold the mustard right there, right? Got whapped out, so I'm going to get rid of that one right there. But, like I said, I would like to see this come down. And I'm still looking for a little bit of an oversold bounce on, especially over on Bitcoin. Still looking for an oversold bounce on Bitcoin. So I think this might also be running a little bit with Bitcoin. Now you take a look on that trend line there that started there and there. Look at there it goes. It went up. That trend line we're just stuck on that trend line right now, trying to break through. It is in a big channel. We're in a bunch of channels. We're in a big wedge here. It's struggling. I just think it's struggling. Let's see what Chone has. Maybe Chone has some better info for you. I really haven't been following. Like Ethereum much. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, ETH. This is a tweet I put out on Twitter earlier today. For starters, we broke through this triangle here, right? But it feels like it's a throwover. And I noticed that the EMA 55, which is my yellow line here, back here in May, back here in July, and then once again, every time we touch it, remember, we can even break through it intraday, that marks these tops. It marks where the bullish moves have come to die here, and once again we are retesting it with a similar bullish move. Nice bullish move here. We touched it and then crash. So once again, the EMA 55 is still showing that this is where this Ethereum just cannot get above. And until it does, the trends kind of continue. It's leveled out slightly, and that's because ETH has been able to kind of level out. We keep looking at this massive volume, right, that came in when ETH was dumping, when all the ICOs dumped a lot of their ETH. And we found that support at the 167 area with a nice bounce, right? We went from 167, 170 to 250, really nice bounce there. And now we're just struggling to keep our head above water over 200. Now we dipped below 200, had a nice little buy there, right? If we break 200 again, I don't know. I mean, it's flowing with Bitcoin, but because of the chart, and I've put out many bearish tweets on ETH, I think ETH has a long way to go, a lot lower.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's kind of just gonna breeze through a couple really quick things here. Raven coin, literally hanging on to support right here. So hard trying to hang on to support. BAT, here's the big pump and dump with BAT. Boy, I feel sorry for the people who FOMO'd into that. That's getting ugly right there. Okay, I expect this to fall and dump here, but no, this thing just went moondicular and then massive retrace. And right now, this has just got a very bearish connotation with it. People are kind of FOMOing out of the coin. Let's see. Look, Chon's got his BAT chart. He talked about it earlier. Let's see what you got there, buddy. Go for it.
Yeah, I put a video out on this on Twitter earlier in the day because, this was actually last night. I did a video on this. I was watching this one. I use Coinbase, and just like ZRX, right? Just like ETC a little bit. And also it's so clear with ZRX what was about to happen. ZRX gets put. Here's where ZRX here is on Coinbase Pro. Okay, no big deal. Very stable price action. Blah blah blah. Right here, October 16th is where Coinbase tweets to everybody. You can now trade ZRX on the phone app, on the desktop app, basically the non-technical version of Coinbase. So for the first time, all these people, mostly Americans, who had money in Coinbase, didn't know what to do with it, had an asset they could buy for 71 cents, the cheapest thing they've ever seen on Coinbase. And sure enough, it created a massive FOMO effect where it peaked at $1.30. Ever since then, it's been just such a bust. And then similarly, to the moment, like to the second, BAT was tweeted by Coinbase that it was available on the thing. Remember, it had been already on here, right, for a couple days, or for about 2 days. Literally to the 5-minute marked its peak here, and ever since then, we've basically been seeing this dump. And this is not just for Coinbase. We saw this thing tank with high volume on Bittrex, on Binance, on Finex, like across the board, massive dumping. So this was a coordinated pump and dump. As soon as that tweet came out, everybody that was loading through, it was kind of easy money, dumped out. And I see no reason why this is going to not continue, just like we've basically seen as ZRX has found new lower lows and Ethereum Classic has found new lower lows as they've been added to the Coinbase platform.
Yep. All right.
And Bitcoin's going bearish again. What are we doing?
Bearish, whatever.
I'm looking at Bitcoin's price action right now. What's going
on? Okay, so I'm just we'll try to ETC, meh. Nano, yeesh. WTC, still Walton Chain, still doing my pattern. Doggy, perfect down into support, and we bounced out of support, trying to hold it, doing its bestest. Tron, do you have Tron over there? A lot of people trade Tron.
Yeah, I pulled up.
Tron came down into support, got a little bit of a bounce. I'm actually looking for this to just gonna slide my thing over. Still looking for this. My bounce is a little low. So look, it came down, bounced, came down, bounced. I could see If it doesn't do this, I could see this going just a little bit. Maybe, let's see here, maybe coming up a little bit and then dropping down, something like that right there. Yeah.
I do not like Tron's weekly chart.
Oh, God, I love it that he does the big charts. Go for it. All right, let's see what we got. Go for it on the weekly chart. Oh, yeah, the helicopter, the propeller. The
Big
propeller
wick out
of
on
doom.
the EMA 12. It's still holding this higher low, lower higher here. You know, I'll just do the bodies and just forget about the wicks there. And even with the body, we're right. So we're testing major support here. What's our volume profile like? Our volume here, volume is waning. It just feels like, and I don't like the shape of this candle. It's a bearish engulfing. We found a very nasty resistance on our EMA 12 and pulled back pretty hard from it. And we're just on the edge here of this triangle support. And we're starting to lose some Momo in our RSI, although we are still holding a higher low from September, but that's obviously still shown in the chart. Oh yeah, look at OBV looks dumpy. We're putting in lower lows in the OBV, okay, with a slight higher low consolidation in the price. So I don't like that. We're putting in divergence there. We are climbing the histogram slightly, but a ways to go. I mean, yeah, and again, we can go back farther, and I talk a lot about gaps in volume. Check out how, what am I on? I'm on the weekly Binance, right? So this thing just rocket shipped from 30 Satoshi. You know how low 30 Satoshi is? 100,000 coin is basically $1,000 at that level. So went from 32 to 320. So we 10 bagged in 3 weeks, right? And we've only corrected back to this candle here at 264. So there's nothing here in terms of, let me see what the VPVR says. Yeah, there's a gap right there. Yeah, so we don't get anything really solid until we get down to about 100 Satoshi from a historical VPVR volume standpoint there. So all this money here is because of this second run here we had when their mainnet went online or something, all that crap. But I don't like this gap here. And this chart tells me price discovery. I mean, it's hard to get a price discovery when you basically started at 32 Satoshi, but it's just nothing here. This almost feels like it's a rising wedge, almost like a bear flag, like a long bear flag pull, and a nice little flag still forming here. And if we break this line is very important. This line to hold, yeah, right there, very important. You break this here, then you start to put in lower lows in the weekly.
Yeah. All right.
That's pretty much all I got.
Move on to the next one. XRP. XRP. All right, so let's take a look at my XRP. Came back up into the wedge line, so there's my wedge line on my RSI. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, baby Santa. I wrote a letter to Santa the other day, said all I want is to save my bag of XRP. So I did get wicked out for half of mine, so I did get wicked out of half of my trade right there. I still got half left. And I'm looking for a bounce here off this support. Now we got a bounce, and then we got rejected, then we got a bounce, and then it came back, and then we're just trying to get a bounce again. And the RSI is trying to bounce up out of this. So fingers crossed, someone will finally come to their senses this year. Coinbase will get my letter from Santa, and they will go ahead and finally announce that XRP, and then all my XRP fans can just go cray-cray. They can take their lunch money, pour it back into, into buying more XRP. And then I can dump my bags on everybody way up here at about 66 cents. All right? I mean, I'll be happy to dump my bags on everybody up here at over 60 cents. Go for it. What do you got?
I do not foresee Coinbase adding XRP
No!
anytime soon.
Hush.
Sorry, I'm the Grinch.
Hush.
I put this tweet out a couple days ago about the resistance that XRP hit in this zone here, and also the fact that we had hit a 7 when we had this really awesome candle here, which had a nasty wick, And once again, on a green 7 is where we had found that resistance there. So that's a cool way we used our TDs to show that similarity. There it is. Here's our 7.
Breaking my heart.
Right here.
Breaking my heart.
And then here's our 7 right here. And we actually had a full 9. It wasn't perfected, and we're basically kind of flirting around here. But listen, we're holding a higher low. We're holding on my daily here. We actually found support on my EMA 12, so that's bullish. Okay, if the EMA 12 breaks, we're definitely hitting the 26. We're probably hitting the 55 as well. And overall, though, the fact that we're above our red line here, which is my MA 200 on the daily, that's still kind of bullish, because that basically shows you that no other alts have basically been able to get above their MA 200. So maybe a couple here and there, but this is big that it was able to break through, fail to hold right here, ride it, and then break bullish once again. So that's bullish in that fact. As long as this red line can be shown as support rather than resistance, then yes, there's a narrative to go again. This area here, from a BTC standpoint, between 9,000 Satoshi area, major resistance. On the daily, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 meaningful wicks said this thing was no moss above here. So that's it. You break this thing, and then we can start talking. But until then, not so good.
Oh, heart broken. Heart absolutely broken. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at Litecoin. And
1 or 2 more?
There's 1 or 2 more. We're done here. We're almost done. Litecoin.
I actually put out a Litecoin tweet earlier today. It was funny, about very similar with the EM. Where is it here? The EMA 55 broke through on the daily twice, and both times where we closed above was a major sell signal. And I agree with you that Litecoin seems to be setting the trend, right, for potentially what could be happening with Bitcoin. So 2 times here, we did it in the end of September, broke through our EMA 55, closed above it, turned out to be a major get the hell out. Same thing here. A couple of days ago, closed above it, take your profits and run, 56 and change. And look what happened here. We came down, had a tiny relief rally, and then a super dump. So we've come down, could have a tiny relief rally, and maybe we triple test $47 again. And if we triple test $47, I do not expect it to.
Yeah. All right. So I got so Litecoin. Listen, came down on my 6 hour. We're on a 9, a perfected 9. So I am looking for a little bit of a bounce up. Let's get that little relief rally rocking. 4 hour, nothing. 12 hour. Look at this beautiful reversal candle right here on Litecoin. Gorgeous, gorgeous reversal candle. So I am looking for some upside here for Litecoin. This should lead the way for Bitcoin, as it usually does. Let's just see how high. This should be a 1 to 4 candle reversal right here. Daily, super close to. Oh, hold on a second. Are we on a brand new day? Did we? Yeah, sure enough. We are 30 minutes into a brand new day right here. Yep. Yeah, so we're 30 minutes into a brand new day. And look, take a look at this right here. So we're 30 minutes into a brand new day. That bottom candle on the daily, spinning topish candle style bottom right there. So I can go either way. I can go 50-50 with this. You know, you got the same kind of candle right here, and it just completely died on you. But I can go either way on this candle. This really doesn't give me a clear direction. The 12 hour definitely does. 12 hours said, hey, no, I'm going to try to bounce here. But look, take a look at your RSI. All your RSIs on every single timeline are really, really high. Really, really high. So there's no reason this thing can't get a little bit of a relief rally out of this and then just go hard. Just go hard deep, right? Go for it, Chunk.
Mm. Yeah, we don't. It's funny, and I had this fight with Cheds a lot about which chart to look at, the BTC pairing or the USD pairing, and he always says whichever chart people use the most. So if it's a coin that has a lot of USD pairings, He'd be more apt on you using the USD chart. But the BTC chart is also extremely important as well to keep an eye on. So this is LTC BTC, and I'm on Coinbase here. And note this historic channel here. I'm on the wick down here from May of 17. I'm on the top wick here from December 14th. And once again, we are right there at our lower support. We kind of didn't touch it yet. We're darn close. But what this means to me is a few things. This doesn't say that Litecoin has hit a bottom. What this does say potentially is that you could find a slight more bullish divergence with Litecoin relative to Bitcoin if this line can hold. And what that means is that as Bitcoin breaks bearish, if it does, remember, like I still have Litecoin targets in the 30s, potentially even lower. So could this symbolize at least a more of a pairing with Bitcoin? If Bitcoin breaks bearish, Litecoin breaks equally bearish, this chart would look pretty much the same. This is about divergences. If this starts to rise as Bitcoin falls, then we're going to see more of a bullish divergence in Litecoin, where Litecoin you would say would be holding up a lot better in a bearish market. But I still feel with Litecoin as a whole, because of its overall parabolic move. Remember, Litecoin went from like $1 to $4 to $12 to $30 to $400. And even though $50, $52, even $47 seems cheap relative to the $300, the $400 top out, this was still under $10 a little over a year ago. Well, more than a little over a year, maybe a little over a year and a half ago. So it's still very have this huge move, even though it's pulled back tremendously, and it needs time to bottom consolidate just like all the other ones. But we're going to watch to see if this channel support holds.
All right, and yeah, just kind of a little look. I'm still looking for, possible little retrace here with the, a little more action down. So looking for a little retrace here just because of that bleeding 9 we had. So there's that bleeding 9 in the 6 hour. And that candle close out on the 12 hour. Looking for a little bit of a bouncy here. And then we'll retrace back down one more time, I feel.
Wrap it up?
Yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah,
Porcia. There's Bitcoin Cash. Zcash. Huge sad face. Neo fell perfectly. Look at that. Money on my Neo chart. Double topped on the Neo. Headed down in the double top zone. Pretty easy. EOS. Let's see what we got here. Oh, God, I'm good. Look at this. EOS came down. No, not even a little baby bounce. And then down. So Neo broke that support. I'm sorry, that's EOS. Broke support, man. Everything is just looking ugly. Dow Jones looking good. ICX, we already talked about it. Wax, I made a good retracement call on that. I looked for that to retrace a little bit. And I think that's it, boys and girls. We're going to take and eat. We're done. We've had a great show. Listen, follow this man. He does a great job, honestly. No, aside from his acting career and his movies he does, he also is an amazing chartist. It's really a step down for him to come and spend time with the little people when he's not in Hollywood making his big blockbuster movies. We really appreciate Seth Rogen coming on the show for a 4th time this week.
Listen, it's been hard to get away from my career and hanging out with Franco, but anytime you're able to have me, I'm happy to be here with you, buddy.
Giving back to the little people. That's what we love about this, man. So, no, we really appreciate it. Give Chone a follow. I'm only kidding about taking away 700 likes so I can beat him. Okay, but give this man a follow. He does such amazing work, gives a lot of his content out. He's also available for one-on-one consultations. He'll show you how to set up your charts, show you how to get everything set up on your chart so you guys can set all your trading view up and just have everything set up so you don't have to do it again. It really, for the small amount of money he's asking, the just the time that it would save you to have to go through to set all of your charts up like he does. I mean, I can't tell you. It takes, honestly, it takes months and even a year sometime for us to get our charts to where we want them to be. So please go and give the guy, if you want to save time, you want to save money, go to the man, help him out. So thank you guys all so much. We really appreciate you all being here for Vamp and all of us at Until One Mil. We would like to just say thank you, and we are out.